everyone, how's it going? Welcome to today's installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs, and I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a long time since I've done a vlog pretty much containing all the cars that I've owned, in which I would call vehicle updates. Well, we're going to do one today because a couple of updates on the Fusion, maybe an update on the Fiesta, and the Grand Am. There's always something going on with the Grand Am. So we might as well take the opportunity before the rain starts to come to make a vehicle update vlog. Let's start with the 15 Fusion. Yes, my beloved 2015 Ford Fusion S that we have just crossed over the 3-year ownership anniversary back at the end of July. And so far, hands down, this has been the best car that I've ever had. Within my 3-year ownership, we haven't had to replace anything other than general maintenance stuff. A battery, wiper blades. We got 4 new tires on it not that long ago, over the summer. That's pretty much it. This car has been problem-free throughout my entire ownership. Now, when I bought it, of course, and I've explained it a few times here and there were some existing issues that the previous owner didn't take, care of. But, it was covered under the warranty when I bought the car, so I didn't consider them to be anything major during my ownership experience, and nothing since then has really gone wrong with this car. Nothing at all. She's got the basic 2.5 liter Duratec 4-cylinder that some may consider to be underpowered. Is it? That's for you to decide. It works fine for me. This engine's pretty much bulletproof mechanically, and I haven't had really anything wrong with it. The only thing that I noticed within the last year was the the timing cover is starting to seep oil on the backside. Very minimal, nothing all that major at the moment. And that's something that all of these Duratec engines will do around the same mileage. We're at about 66,000 miles, so somewhere in the 60-some thousand mile range, I see them with the timing cover starting to seep a little bit. Am I concerned about it right now? No. Something else I did notice though was over here near the water pump area, and it looks a little wet over there. The water pump could possibly be seeping also. I did have to add some coolant to it. It wasn't that low, but these cars, a lot of these newer Ford cars, every time they come into my Bayette shop, they're low. I always top them off. It's a common thing. So if something's not leaking, I think the coolant just evaporates or something, it leaves. But I don't know if this is related to that timing cover. I don't know how this timing cover is exactly designed, but it does look like it's around the water pump area. Haven't had any issues of overheating. Haven't really had any issues at all. So I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. If I start seeing stuff actually dripping, much like that cover, if it actually starts dripping, then we might take care of it. Or we will take care of it, I should say. And I did notice one other leak last night when I was doing another general maintenance item to this car after I was done with work. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you guys. You probably can't see it from here. You're not going to be able to see it. But the driver's side front axle seal is leaking off the transmission. Again, it's nothing compared to what my old Escape was doing. I mean, my old Escape it was literally dripping transmission fluid. This, it's just, it's just a little bit of a dampness. So I'm not concerned about it right now. Again, that's another thing that I see a lot of when you're in the shop. But it doesn't look like it's going to be a major issue at this time. So that's kind of what I've got my eye on with this car for the time being. And I guess we'll see how things progress. Maybe they won't get any worse. I'll just, run with it. But in time, the timing cover most likely will get to a point where it's literally going to be soaked. And then, that's when it'll be like, it's time to take care of it. Right now, nothing's soaked. Everything is, I don't know how you want to say it. It just looks like it was wet, But that's what we got going on under the hood of the Fusion. It's really been, like I said, other than that, fantastic. Come on, squirrel. I'm literally stopped because of this guy. Go ahead, take your time. I'll just sit here and wait. There he goes. All right, 66,275 miles exactly at the moment. 0.0. And yeah, there's not a whole lot to update with this car. A lot of the stuff that I did to it was roughly around the time, I kind of covered everything in the 3-year anniversary video that was put out back in, well, probably either July or August. I tried to get it out, in July. But yeah, we did the tires, we did a battery. I think that was it, really. I don't think anything else has really had to been taken place or replaced when, since then. Now, the thing that I did last night, and it was something that I really wanted to capture on video for anybody who wants to do it, was I just couldn't do it though. It was a lot easier to do it at work. I don't have all of the proper stuff at home to do it, but there's always another opportunity to do it, I'm sure, on another vehicle at home. But I ended up changing the transmission fluid in this thing last night. It was something that I had really wanted to take care of for a long time. I think my original plan was I wanted to change it around the 50,000 mile interval, when the car was around 50,000 miles. That did not get done. But I ended up having a Fusion at work the other day, and it was in for a 60,000 mile service, and that included draining and filling the transmission with new fluid. And at 60,000 miles, when I saw the fluid that came out of this Fusion, it was completely black, and I was thinking, well, maybe I really should get mine in there before it's too late. So I got mine in there last night before I left work, and I drained it. It was not as black as the other Fusion that I seen. It still had the slightest tint of red to it, but it was pretty dark. There was no smell of anything being burnt, which is good. It didn't have any kind of glittery look to it, which is also very good. And we put new fluid in it. It was a pretty simple process on these. There's a couple of things that you do have to kind of be mindful of. There's an 11 millimeter plug on the bottom of the transmission case. You just undo it, fluid comes out. I had a bucket at work, or a jug, that has measurements on it, so I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what was coming out of the transmission, so I knew exactly what to put in, or what's close to being put in. I believe the service manual for this thing said, I forget, it was anywhere between 4 quarts and 4.5 quarts, roughly, of when you're just doing a drain and fill. And when this thing drained out, it drained out 4 quarts exactly. So I bought 4 quarts of Mercon LV at the shop, and I put the 4 quarts in, and then once you have the 4 quarts inside the transmission, You want to let the car run. You want the engine to be at operating temperature before you can check the amount of fluid that's in the transmission to make sure it's at the proper mark. On these transmissions, next to the driver's side axle, which is how I noticed mine was leaking, but there's a little check plug there. You take this plug out, and if the transmission fluid kind of dribbles out of it, it's full. My 4 quarts did not do that, so I had to add about another 1/4 of a quart. And once I added that, after a minute or so, it started to dribble out of the side hole of the transmission. So it took about 4.2-ish quarts of transmission fluid, Mercon LV. And after that, I buttoned everything up, drove it home. I was kind of concerned about how this thing was going to drive after changing the fluid. But I will say this, I may have mentioned it from time to time, the transmission in this thing sometimes is not the smoothest of transmissions. The thing with reverse, where you put it in reverse sometimes and it slams into reverse, which I heard is kind of a common issue with these transmissions. But also between second and third, or third and fourth, one of them two, sometimes it would not be the smoothest of transmission shifts. And so far, with the new fluid in here, this car is shifting beautifully. That's a result that I was hoping to get, to be honest with you. Same exact thing with my Escape. When I changed the transmission fluid in my Escape, everything became smoother. So I guess, as long as you change the fluid within a reasonable mileage, it could benefit. But if you go too long on the same fluid, that's when they start to say, don't even bother changing it, because that fluid and all the contaminants and particles and stuff in that fluid are kind of helping that transmission stay together. I did not flush. I don't like flushes because I think flushes can cause harm when you start stirring up those maybe said particles and they start getting into places where they shouldn't be. A drain and fill should just be, a safe process, safe maintenance thing to do for your transmission. But yeah, this thing is shifting nice. Probably, close, as nice as it has been since I bought the car, really. Hopefully it stays that way. We'll keep you guys informed if anything else changes. But that is pretty much where I stand with the Fusion right now. Transmission change, and of course the things that we added or we did to the car within that I mentioned during the 3-year video. And yeah, I still love this car a lot. This is still one of my most favorite cars that I've ever had. Definitely the best when it comes to what I have to pay out of pocket for any kind of repairs or anything. It's been a great car, and I absolutely love this thing. So that's all that I have to say about this one. If anything else obviously gets worse, any of the other leaks or any other, I should say, seepages, then we'll document it and we'll end up probably doing something about it later on in time. That's all I got on the Fusion. Let's switch cars now and take a look at the 15 Fiesta. yes, the 2015 Ford Fiesta SE. Definitely been the longest of the cars that we've had around here. It's going to be 5 years in January, so just a few months away from the official 5-year ownership of the car. Still, it's been great. A lot of people kind of bash these cars for the transmissions and such, the dual clutch transmission, which yes, the clutch a few years ago was replaced under warranty because it did start to shudder. But ever since then, so far, I have not noticed anything else with the car itself as far as clutch issues, engine issues and stuff. I mean, there again, the car doesn't get driven a whole lot. My wife, she just takes it to work and back, maybe, to the store here and there. But I mean, it literally, I put more mileage on the other two cars than this car has ever really gotten. In fact, this car is ready for an oil change, and it's been probably about a year since I did an oil change on it, but it also has only had about 2,000 miles put on it since that oil change. So cosmetically, and again, all the cars are kind of dirty, and I wanted to try to wash the cars, but it's gonna rain any minute actually. So I mean, I know these brake dust annoys the crap out of me, so that bothers me. But yeah, I wanted all the cars to be washed before we really get into the fall. But yeah, it's every day that I've had off, it's either raining or something else is going on. But cosmetically, I will say this: this side of the car has been a victim not once but twice to people neglecting their shopping cart corrals. This is something right here. There was actually a dent here. There's actually still a little ding there. Can't really see it. Maybe you can. But yeah, shopping cart right into that. When she got home from work that day, I kind of opened this door and slammed it shut, and the dent popped out. But I have to put the the touch-up pen on that. I wanted to wait until after the car was washed, and like I said, there's a kind of like a crease right there that's not going to come out. So yeah, that's a thing. But more recently, there was another shopping cart, and this one did a fantastic job. That ain't coming out. The scuffs are still there from like the corner of the cart. Yeah, I don't think I can get that out. Maybe if I don't know, even if I take that off, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to that. So yeah, that's upsetting. But I don't know, it is what it is, unfortunately. It's amazing that a shopping cart, when it actually can get speed, that's what it does. And unfortunately, where my wife works, it's in a retail establishment. They're assigned to park in a certain area, and that seems to be the area where all the carts like to go. So, oh well. Anyway, let's have a look. The 1.6 liter Sigma 4-cylinder engine is what powers this Fiesta. Again, I think it's a great engine. For this little car, and when it's combined with that DCT transmission, it actually has quite a bit of takeoff. It's not bad. It's a small car. It's a small engine. It's supposed to be, an economy type thing. People who usually drive these cars like to, save money during their commuting when it comes to gasoline prices, especially nowadays. Didn't necessarily buy the car for that reason. My wife just liked it because it was blue. But anyway, it's, again, fantastic vehicle. We're gonna try to get it into the shop next week because my wife's taking her vacation week from work. So I will probably do the maintenance on it then. So that will consist of the oil change. Like I said, the oil only has maybe about 2,000 miles on it, 2,500 miles maybe. Battery over the last couple of years replaced. Maybe time for an air filter. I honestly don't remember if I've ever looked at the air filter, but I will when I get it in the shop. So we might do an air filter change. Honestly, don't know if this car has a cabin filter or not, but that should be something that I look at also. I'll have to look in the workshop manual. That's it. I've had to add coolant to it once, and it's just a little under the max mark now, but it's definitely not at the min mark, so again, I think it just evaporates. But I added coolant to it, like, I don't know, in 2019 or something, 2018 maybe. So yeah, let's go for a ride. Yeah, look at that, 44,535 miles. It's due at 47,194, so yeah. barely been driven in a year, but I'm not gonna let it go any further. So next week we're gonna change it out, obviously. This particular one has, you know, the original My Ford Touch system, you know, with Microsoft Sync, and haven't had any issues with this. My wife says that every now and then her phone doesn't like to connect to it. My phone seems to connect to it every time I'm in here, so I honestly don't know. I have yet to really see it do anything funky. Every time I'm in the car, it works just fine. I actually like this system. This is probably my favorite system when it comes to the My Ford Touch. I just like the color-coded keys for each category and whatnot. But it still seems to be fine in my opinion. Like I said, I have yet to really see it do anything stupid when I'm around. In the blend door, we did the blend door actuator twice over the entire course of the ownership of this car. Mostly when it's on this front position here, and it'll click like crazy, but ever since I replaced it, I think it's been in there. Oh, when did I do that? It's been well over a year, maybe almost 2 years ago. Yeah, so anyway, it's been in here a long time. So far, the clicking has not returned. Will it? Possibly. But it's good for now. Now, this car is fun to drive. I don't know why people rag on these cars all the time for anything else other than that transmission, you know, the transmission history, but this car is just so peppy, and it's so, like, responsive, you know? Whoa! It's just such a fun car. You know, it being small definitely helps give it that, you know, that nice responsiveness and whatnot. But it's just an awesome car, and I love it. I'm glad that we bought this. I have no regrets on buying one of these, even though I was a little skeptical at first when we were looking at it, because I knew about the transmission stuff going into it, that there was a possibility we were going to have problems with it. And we did, but it really wasn't all that bad because it was still covered under the warranty at the time. So I'm glad it happened then, you know. And even then, the clutch itself, I don't think is even that expensive. It's more so the labor aspect of it, having to actually pull the transmission out and you know, put the clutch in it. But nonetheless, this thing has been perfectly fine ever since the clutch replacement back in, was it 2019 or 2018? I don't know. Years ago. That's all I can say. The only other thing that I really want to do to this car is get the back tires replaced. I did replace the front tires. It might have been last year. I think it was when I did the last oil change. I ended up throwing 2 tires on the front because they were the worst of the 4, and the one was losing air, I believe, slowly. So it was time. The original Hancooks, I'm not a fan of them. The car, you know, only had like 40,000 miles on it, and those tires are already worn down to, you know, pretty much nothing. The ones that I put on the back were the better of the 4. So they're on the back. We put 2 Kelly tires on the front. I don't remember what the name of the actual tire is, but I think they've been pretty good so far. And I would like to replace the back 2 next week too, if I have the money, with the same Kelly tires that I put on the front. But the back tires, one of them is making noise, and it's been making noise for a long time. And I can't wait for that to go away. So when you have the music on, you really don't notice it all that much. But still, those Hancooks back there, they gotta go. And I'm hoping I'll be able to do it while my wife is off work next week. Then I can take the car to work with me and do it when I have some downtime. That's it. I mean, everything else on this car is still pretty solid. Everything in here works. The heated seats still work. I replaced the brakes last year, and the one brake is still squeaking, which I thought was gonna go away, but I guess not. So while it's at work with me next week, I might take them back apart, and we may end up maybe what they call scuffing the pads, and seeing if that's gonna, make a difference. Ooh, I just saw an ambulance up ahead at the intersection. I wonder if we're gonna run into something. But anyway, I might look at that. I'm just kind of surprised that the squeaking hasn't gone away. I thought it was, the pads had to be broken in. I thought it was gonna stop, but no, they still squeal for some reason. I don't know. I really don't have anything else to say about this car other than the fact that I wish I could clean it. I wish that I can give it a good washing and detailing, but that's not happening today. So, save the best for last. Not really. But yeah, let's head home and let's take a look at the Grand Am and tell you guys what's going on with it. I say the best, but I'm kidding. Even though, honestly, for the price, and even for the amount of money that I put into this thing to get it roadworthy, and keep it roadworthy so far, it could be the best in that aspect. But the 2003 Pontiac Grand Am GT Coupe. You guys have heard this story a million times. One of my dream cars from when I was a kid. Aunt had one. Aunt had a couple of them, actually. Took my driver's test in this car. So at some point in my life I wanted to have one. Didn't want to buy one as broken as it was. But again, it's been a joy for the most part, bringing it back to life. And so far, I really haven't had anything major happen to it since it's been on the road. A couple of other hiccups here and there that we're probably going to have to address in the near future. But other than that, it really has been a pretty decent car. The 3400 V6 is one of my favorite engines, probably my favorite engine from GM. A lot of people love these things, a lot of people hate these things. It depends. They're easy to work on. Really, when I had the Aztec, same exact engine the Aztec had, my first engine teardown ever. First time I, rebuilt the top half of an engine, and it was, it was easy. You just gotta stay focused and stuff. The rain's coming. But anyway, No, fantastic engine. People hate them for the intake gasket issues. Head gaskets, if you're going to do the intake gaskets, you might as well do the head gaskets. Take it one step, one more step and do the head gaskets also, which is what we did. This car is, alive now. It was barely alive when I got it. It was ticking like crazy. It was filled with double the amount of fluid in the engine because of coolant contamination. Yeah, I really wanted to try and save this engine, and I was not sure if it was going to be savable, but it has been running extremely well. Not the original engine in this car. The lady I bought it from said it was replaced. It still had junkyard rating when I bought it, and it was already turning to crap. So I don't know what the exact mileage was on this engine, but she said it was a younger engine than what the mileage on this car is. Other than that, the battery, of course, was recently changed a few months ago. That's really it. I mean, not a whole lot has had to have been done down here. So, let's go for a ride. Our first stop is going to be the gas station. I probably should not trust this gas gauge so much the way that I do. But it is what it is. Hey, let's get some air on in here. Yeah, the air conditioning, it still works. Can you believe it? I know, I can't believe it, but it still works. Okay, gasoline, check. Rain, lightning, check. A lot of thunder, wow. We're in October now. I would have thought that this, well, you know what it is? It is pretty warm today. This is probably going to be like the last warm day of the year. It was about 70 when I started filming, and the rain's probably cooling it off now, so yeah, it's probably going to be the last warm day of the year, my guess. So the Grand Am has been, again, wonderful. For the price, $750 car, somewhere between $800 and $900 currently to get it on the road and keep it on the road. For the price and everything invested into it, and the mileage even, I mean, the mileage is still considerably low for the year that it is. It's still been a great car. I am so in love with this car. Like, I've loved it when I was a teenager, and even though this one is still not the greatest example, with everything that is wrong with it, the rust on the bottom and it just, the wear of everything, it's still, in my opinion, a fun and delightful car to drive. I still can't say anything real bad about this particular car. Now, that being said, there are things that are wrong with this car still that I'm not sure when I'm going to replace them or fix things, or I don't know. I'm starting to think that my driver's side front wheel hub is going to be an issue real soon. When the rain is not here and when everything else is off, if you're just letting the car coast, you can kind of hear somewhat of a frictional noise, and my guess is the wheel hub is getting weak. That also being said, I have showed you guys in recent videos ABS lights coming on and traction control lights coming on, and every time I scan the code related to the lights, it is leading me to that particular wheel speed sensor, which is integrated into that hub. So I'm really starting to put a puzzle together. I think we are going to need a driver's side hub at some point soon. How soon? I don't know. The car is still driving okay. I had it in the shop for its oil change not all that long ago, and you know, everything's still tight. The tie rods are honestly looking a little iffy. The boots on them are pretty much coming apart big time, but everything is still tight as far as, you know, handling and everything. So the wheel hub, it's probably making noise, but it doesn't seem like anything is coming apart at this time. Nonetheless, probably should have that taken care of soon. The car is still a little loud, but you know, that is because of an empty catalytic converter shell. I still am not 100% sure if I'm going to put a converter on this or not. The car could still be worth a catalytic converter, but honestly, with all the rust and stuff underneath, I keep saying that's going to be what kills this car before anything mechanically does. So I don't know if I'm just going to let it continue to ride on without one or not. The service engine light is currently on and has been on for a very long time, and the two codes that it's throwing are both evap codes. One is for the small leak, and the other one is for another kind of leak. So to be quite honest, every now and again, not all the time, but now and again, when I do have the air conditioning on, or if I have anything coming from air from the outside, I do every now and again smell some gasoline fumes. So I also remember there being a broken line on by the evap purge under the hood, and I tried to tape it up with some tape a while ago. So I kind of wonder if maybe that is the issue, or if there's other things wrong with the evap system. The proper way to test that would be with a smoke test, a smoke tester, and using some bidirectional controls on a scan tool to open and close, you know, the purge and the canister vent valves. Seeing exactly where the smoke is coming from, then that's probably where you're going to find your leak. So the broken hose is most likely, you know, the problem. Or, you know, it could simply be either the purge or canister valves themselves. I don't know. As long as the car doesn't blow up, I'm okay with it. It's running fine. You know, I just bought that new Alltel scan tool. Showed it off to you guys in the last vlog, and I looked at, you know, fuel trim data. I wanted to see, you know, how this engine was running, because the last time that I actually looked at a scan tool for this car, it was a Tech 2, and it was months and months ago when I was still in school. Even then, I think the fuel trims were a little iffy. I don't think they were dead on, but the Alltel, having it hooked up and looking at the fuel trims once this car is running in closed loop and it's actually been warmed up, this you know, fuel trim is one very important key to telling how your car is running. And according to the fuel trims, this thing is running pretty perfect. It's not running rich, it's not running lean. It is making you know, the proper calculations, and it's actually a really strong running engine. And I'm so surprised, like I said, considering how trashed this engine seems to have been when I bought this car. And we've driven pretty much, we put about 8,000 miles on this car since it's been on the road. So you know, I'm hoping it'll make it to 10,000. It probably will. So we've definitely put more miles on this car at this point than we did when I had the Aztec, which is really sad. I got just about 6,000 miles, I think, out of the Aztec before I sold it. Still wish I didn't sell it. I still wish I didn't sell it. But at the same time, if I didn't sell it, then I would not have been able to pick up this delightful Grand Am that I have been so happy to have. And so far, you know, Jade has treated me well, and I will continue to treat her well, as long as my wallet lets me. It's also kind of funny because when I got this Grand Am and I actually, once it was on the road, I started seeing other Grand Ams in the area, in my neighborhood. There's usually a red one parked a block away from my house, a red GT, but it's trashed. And then somebody else a few houses down got a silver GT sedan, which from the outside, it does not look all that bad. So it's just kind of funny how I've noticed them coming out of the woodwork once mine was back on the road. All right, everyone, so I'm gonna wrap it up. The rain is here, so I can't make my intro outside because I don't want to, get soaked. But we looked at the 15 Fusion, we looked at the 15 Fiesta, and we just looked at the 03 Grand Am. Gave you guys updates on all three of these cars and where they are sitting as far as, maintenance and performance and all that stuff. And I'm sure we will definitely hear more about these cars in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed today's vlog, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And check out teespring.com/stores/Mike's Vehicle Spotlight for all of your MVS and vlog merchandise. That is all that I have for today, so I will see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching, and take care.